frame rate drops. Alright. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the server. Now, everything here is going to look a lot different, so let me go outside and explain. So, in between last time and this time, the server backups had a bit of an issue. And the backup that the server had was prior to me joining it. So as a result, the base that I had technically didn't exist. So, and also a lot of the biomes changed for some odd reason. Either because it was areas that hadn't been loaded prior to that backup, or what. So this whole area was a desert back before. So now it's a savanna, which, I mean, it's a nice change. Don't have to worry about husks constantly. The server admins gave everyone... Because a lot of people lost a lot of progress on builds or fortresses, what have you. So they gave everybody limited creative access to, rebuild stuff, things of that nature. Me, I simply used it to reclaim some of the diamonds I had, the obsidian, my turtle helmet, and some of the crops. I had already built this new place and just started mining because I have issues. I like playing it, and since I was the newest edition, a lot of the stuff from the server I lost the least. So me rebuilding wasn't that bad. And I get to build inside of my mountain now, which apparently, so I started digging a stair step down and discovered this giant hole. Here, let me come in here just to show you the sheer scale of this. That is deep slate down there at the bottom. So this whole thing... Oh, hey, look. There's a skeleton with an enchanted bow, and it looks like zombies with enchanted boots. Yeah, so everywhere that there's torches is where I've explored in here so far. But that's a lot... That's a giant hole. So, yeah. So, going back out of here now, before I inevitably fall over. So, and then I've set up my underground farming, as I had done before. Carrots, potatoes, beetroot, wheat. I've got pumpkins here. I've got the addition of the animal farms outside. And I've even begun bee breeding. Which, to get the bees, there were no bees here originally. So what I had to do was go out over to the forest over there, grab some of the flowers, bring them back over here, take my crop farms and whatnot to my composter, make bone meal, and constantly plant, grow, and cut down oak trees until I got a tree with a hive. Because when a tree spawns with a hive, it has 3 bees. Or it has at least 2 bees, which you can then take some flowers, breed them, and continue, and each beeswax harvest gives you 3 beeswax, which in turn is enough 3 beeswax and 6 wood to make an additional apiary, to then continue breeding the bees. So right now I have enough apiaries to house 12 bees, which means on average when they're full, I can get 12 things of honey at a time, or 12 honeycomb, depending on what I want to do with it. Okay, that's it. Wait. Okay, you're all seeing this, right? Is that... Is it actually not raining there, but it's raining here? Okay, so a few things. Either it doesn't rain in the actual savannas, which I'm not unfortunately I'm not familiar with savanna biomes that much. I rarely ever build in them. So I don't know if that's a normal occurrence or if I'm just losing my mind. Which, granted, is entirely possible. Yeah, I grabbed some jungle, so I can start that production. I've got bamboo. Crop-wise, I have pretty much everything here. I've got cows, sheep, pigs, chickens. I don't have an automated way to pick up the eggs, though. So I have to go in here and manually grab them. Which, I mean, is fine. And I've got one stray chicken. Oh, he just chills. I call him Sergeant Clucker. And yes, that was a name I totally just made up off the top of my head. But since I have pumpkins, I have sugarcane, and I have eggs. I can make pumpkin pie! Yum. Oh, hey, an advancement for 2 more pies. Nope, still not night. Okay, so I have a diamond pick, but I'm using it as little as possible, because right now I'm just kind of hollowing out my area little by little, because this farmland is actually going to extend a little bit, because I need a lot of wheat, because one, it's good for bone meal production, but it's also needed to breed half of my animals. Or actually, no. Technically, it breeds 2/3 of them, because the wheat for the cows and the sheep, and the seeds for the chickens. And then carrots for the pigs. But the pigs are only needed for food if needed, so they can actually just kind of chill in the pen for now. Whereas the cows for leather, the sheep shearing for wool. My eventual goal is to have a rainbow, because then I can start making various shades of carpet. Because who doesn't like a nice shag rug? The answer is anyone with kids or pets. Having had a shag rug in the house as a kid, and as a pet owner now. Especially when you have pets that shed all year. How they never go bald, I will never understand. But somehow that's how they do. Yeah, of course, got these little sweet berries. I got one, and then you can just plant them infinitely. What's great about these is you can plant them, it'll grow, you can keep harvesting from it, and entities take damage when touching them once they're grown. So, they're good for small scale, like some perimeter defenses and things of that nature. I had also started some vines, because you take vines and stone bricks to make mossy stone. You just grab them with shears, and you can keep going with them. I've got a jungle, one giant jungle. Case in point, I just ran into that, touching the plants. You can continue grabbing the vines and stuff off the jungle trees, because they tend to have vines on them you can grow. Oh, hey, it's finally night. And jungle wood and a single cocoa bean to continue growing more cocoa beans. So I can also mass produce cookies if I so choose. Because I don't think cocoa beans have any other use aside from brown dye, I think, is the only other use they have. Of course, while I was going around, exploring, see what of my base was still there. If it was at all, I found a few items just on the ground, so I think somebody else's chest might have been popped or something. Because I found a book, some item frames, some glowing item frames, a book and quill that doesn't have anything in it, and whatnot. Of course, I've started manufacturing kelp blocks to use less coal, because a piece of coal will smelt 8 items. A block of kelp will smelt 20. So I've got a kelp farm going. It's not very deep. I probably need to make it a little bit deeper, but not really needed right now. All my doors have little pressure plates, so I open them manually from the outside, and it'll automatically close because you cross the pressure plate, and you just step on the pressure plate and it opens up in front of you. So I can get in and out easily. Oh, yeah. So these banners. Oh, welcome. Yeah, so these banners they drop from pillagers. So, because for whatever reason, on the other side of this wall, pillager groups keep spawning. We don't know why. The running theory is that because this area used to be a desert, and there was also a village here at one point before the chunks were regenerated. So it's possible that this area, it still thinks that it's a village, and so the pillagers spawn nearby to raid it. Same goes for the spawn of the world as well, because a similar issue happens over there. So every so often, a pillager squad appears, usually with a guy with a banner, and so I've started a banner collection. So, and that pretty much sums up what's been going on my end here. I kind of did a good bit of building off stream, just because I build things relatively quickly, even without doing creative or otherwise, because I enjoy doing it. I've got walls. I've got enough torches to where things don't spawn inside. Endermen still teleport in because, well, Enderman. And the giant mining hole is constantly full of stuff. So, I don't think I will ever be able to fully get this entire place torched. Because, I mean, that's a lot of space. Oh, hey, look. It's either gold or iron down there, dead center. But yeah. So I think apart from that, my goal for today is to mine out more space in the base itself. Set up the rest of my food harvesting crop. Maybe try and do some more iron delving. Because I've got a full set of iron armor, because those pillagers and their crossbows hurt. With the armor, it's much better, and also, this is my second shield. They pretty much wore out the first one with those crossbows. Because they don't all fire at once, they tend to stagger their fire. Let me see, I think my other one's in here. Yeah, here's what's left of my other shield. That's how much they were hitting me. Let's see, 60, it's 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So, take the coal out of there. Well, actually, it's charcoal, because going through in the process of me getting the beehive, I got like 7 stacks of logs from all the trees I went through. So with these 3, should smelt all 60 of this copper. And these 2 should smelt this 40. And I got a little smoker for food. Just because I think the smoker, like the blast furnace, doesn't do it more efficiently. It just does it faster. Is the main thing there. So. Yeah, what I want to attempt to accomplish today is to take this farmland, because all of this entire farm plot is done by this one block of water. 4 tiles in every direction. So I want to try and set up a second one, as well as get some chests and signs to properly sort the mess that is the menagerie of my inventory. Because nothing is organized right now. Absolutely nothing. Speaking of, where's that? Oh, yeah. And then in the process of mining out all this cobblestone, I can continue on my walls. So everything I mine is then used for another purpose. Everything has a place, except rotten flesh. Rotten flesh has absolutely no purpose here, apart from just collecting it. There's been talks about possibly having a server side. I don't know if it's a mod plugin. I'm not entirely sure how all that works, to be able to turn rotten flesh into leather. But beyond that, it has no purpose. Heck, I don't even think it has a purpose in potion brewing. Whereas, like, spider eyes, gunpowder, ender pearls, bones, pretty much everything, every other mob drop, oak string, they all have a use. But rotten flesh, nada. It's like, zombies, you're useless. And because the server is on hard, they hit. When they hit, they hurt. Oh, so that's another thing. So I've gone through 4 groups of pillagers, which they tend to be in groups of 4. So out of 16 pillagers, all with crossbows, not a single crossbow has dropped. Not one. Out of all of the pillagers that I've killed. It's like what, do I hit them so hard that the crossbow disintegrates? It's like they go to fire it, roll that one, it explodes. Yeah, anybody not familiar, I'm also a not gonna say beginner, but I'm not an expert of D&D stuff. Try to play here and there, off and on, just for fun, family, a few friends, that kind of thing. So you'll probably hear me make multiple different Dungeons and Dragon terminology references, just in passing, because that's kind of just how I am. Always been big on RPGs, and tabletop ones are just as much. All right, let's see, how far have I gone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1. No, I need to go 2 more, technically, because I can't count the one space in the middle with the dirt, because that's where the melons and stuff will have to grow. Well, Teapot, just getting back into it. Well, it's not a bad time to do that with the cliffs and caves and whatnot have really changed, like a lot of the terrain generation and things of that nature, as well as added a whole bunch of different stuff. Like that giant hole under that's down at the bottom of the stairs is not prior to cliffs and caves. That type of thing didn't exist. Same with like the deep slate and whatnot. Which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, let me harvest the wheat. I'm actually going to go down and grab some of the deep slate, because then I can actually show you what it looks like in its multiple forms. Because much like stone, it has a bunch of different blocks that it can be made. It can make up. But I want to. Oh, wait. Let's sleep. Yeah, I've played Minecraft fairly regularly since 2013-ish. Couldn't find any diamonds, was searching for 2 hours and found 5 diamonds from 4 veins. Ouch. Yeah, I lucked out, and before everything, when I was doing my digging, one time I found 10 in one place, but it was also right next. One thing I've learned is if you're digging underground with cliffs and caves, you want to be at about elevation 4, whereas prior to cliffs and caves, elevation 4 was bedrock. But now bedrock is at negative 64. So they added an entire 64 levels of elevation lower, and it's all deep slate. You'll find deep slate iron, deep slate gold, deep slate redstone, deep slate diamonds. It's a little bit tougher material, but all of that stuff you can still mine with iron. The only thing you have to have diamond for is still obsidian and speed of mining, if nothing else. All right, let me go ahead and make another iron pick. Got my iron sword, got my shield. But yeah, generally, if you know where the like the chunk boundaries are, because one chunk is a 16 by 16. If you know where the chunk boundaries are, at least prior to this, the rule of thumb was you will find there are at least 8 diamonds somewhere in that chunk. However, because those chunks are now 64 blocks deeper in total elevation, that may no longer be the case. And so I don't actually know what the full measurement is anymore. It's crazy. They've added so much to this. Like for example, these pools. I didn't stone these off. These pools were just here when I got down here. I don't know. I don't know if you can, because I think what it does is when the chunk reloads, I think it depends on your chunk render distance, and if the world doesn't automatically update all chunks in and around you when you go from 117 to 118. So I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know if you can, like, that is a zombie in full enchanted armor. Okay. This ought to be interesting. Okay, so nothing is lit down. Okay, so those blue blocks down there, that is not diamond. I don't think. I'm pretty sure that's lapis. Now that would be interesting if you get to the bottom of one old chunk and then into a chunk that is of the current thing. That would be wild. Now that I think about it. Okay, yeah, see how I just got the 5 iron and got the thing rock bottom? I just crossed elevation 0. Coming down here. Yeah, so this is all deep slate. Let me put torches down here before things come out of the woodwork. Ow, like that. Come here. Gotcha. But yeah. Alright, there's some gold over there. Okay, so first things first. Okay, so you came from up here. Put torches in here so I don't get any surprises. Granted, it doesn't stop all spawn, but it will at least kind of keep the spawns relatively contained to the immediate area of where I am. Okay, make some more torches. And it also helps kind of keep track of where I've explored, where things need to be placed. That's gravel. Let me hit that. Yeah, see this is all deep slate. This is deep slated gold. The deep slate blocks take a little bit longer to mine, but again, you can still mine them with iron. Yeah, and when you mine the deep slate, it becomes cobbled deep slate. And then you can take the deep slate. Let me get a few more. Alright, so now that I've got some deep slate, and this is relatively torched here, so I can actually go and come back down here. But yeah, see, this is deep slate lapis. Basically, every ore has a deep slate equivalent. Ow. Oh, good God. Rude. Oh, the sniper shot. Okay, the enchanted one has to go. Whew. Drop skeletons. Sheesh. Yeah, and my biggest problem, and probably my ultimate hubris of this, is I've spent a lot of time over the years on peaceful, because I play more for the building aspect than the survival aspect, but I don't do creative building. I mine the materials and what have you. So I've had a few close calls here as a result, much like the one you just saw. So, actually, in the habit of carrying food and whatnot is starting to become. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's one of those few occurrences that I haven't actually witnessed myself, but it is a cool thing. Okay, I just saw a creeper up on the edge. Where did he go? That's another thing about having this big, giant, open area like this. I don't have to worry about a creeper dropping on my head so much as a creeper just walking down the cliff. Oh, hello. Hello, Vern. How are you? No. 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 Bad. Little things are fast, they hit fast, and can easily cause you to panic. Yeah, see, this is all deep slate iron. One thing I think they could do with some of the deep slate ores, simply because it takes more to mine them, in the sense that it takes longer and you have to be much deeper and it's usually much more dangerous. If the deep slate ores gave you a little bit more, like not necessarily like say for the iron, say give you 2 iron every time, but like each deep slate iron having like say a chance to drop a second one. I'll throw the gravel out of there. Now, that being said, that would also, I guess, in a way, that would also kind of negate the benefits of having fortune. And since iron and gold and everything it now has a particle drop instead of just an ore block, I'm fairly certain fortune will affect them now. Which is cool. So now fortune has use beyond redstone, lapis, nether quartz, and diamond. It can actually potentially work on ores now, too. Speaking of lapis, let me grab some of this. Then I'll have everything I need for enchanting. Grab all this. Ah, there he is. Cheeky bugger. Don't need the sugar. Okay, I love that. It's a... Damn it! Damn it! Oh, wait. No. It's like the sadness. Okay, now to slowly navigate the water feature. Great way to get down. Pain in the ass to get back up. Luckily, once I get back up to my makeshift platform here, I have stair steps that go all the way back to the base. To the safety of my doors, which, granted, if a zombie ever manages to follow me all the way up there, they can I'm pretty sure on normal or above, they can break the doors. But again, with the whole area here, a zombie would have to follow me a long way. And their aggro range is not that high. Luckily. So. Oh, and it's night. Oh, and I have some gold and some redstone, which means, hey, I can make a clock. Alright. Oh. So now these should all be, yep, 40 and... Yep. Haha, my math is right. Coppers. That's cute. Yeah, so this server has... let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah. So this server has a whole bunch of just little advancement things that are a little nuts. A lot of them are relatively easy. And it's just little random things above and beyond just the base achievements of the game. Some of them will give you like little random materials, things like that. As far as what all of them are, I have no idea. A lot of them I have found by complete accident. Like, okay, see, this one is copper and whatnot. And then flintstone. Basically, just as you progress in the game, just doing normal Minecraft stuff, you'll ultimately uncover a lot of it. Yeah, starting a bone collection. I'm not turning the bones into bone meal because I have my own bone meal production for that. Honestly, my favorite thing to do is Honestly, mining and building. I mean, I tend to do a lot of the crops just in passing, and I tend to farm far more food than I will ever need. But generally, the mining and building. Grew up with playing Lego as a kid, and well, this game came along 15 years later, and now now here I am in my 30s and still at it. Let's go and put the iron in there. One piece of, oh yeah, I already had gold. So it's 1 gold, 4 redstone? Nope. Let's see if I got this right. Nope, it's the other way around. I will remember the recipe for a clock eventually. Gold doesn't have much of any other use. So, oh hey, and I got half the gold back. Cool. All right, and if you just put the clock on the wall as the day progresses, yeah, fishing is a good one. Yeah. So completing one of the things I want to say was when I picked the first flower, I got this. I don't know. I think it's just like one of those little server trophy things as part of one of the plugins for the server. So I'm not 100% sure on what its purpose is, but there's that. Now, once I have enough, actually, I think I have enough iron for this. Let's see, 20. Yes, I have more than enough iron. So these pointed dripstone. Oh, wait a minute. Crap, I'm missing one very important thing for this. Okay, I have a bucket of water. Why do I have a bucket of milk? Oh, right, because every time I killed the pillager with the banner, I got the bad omen debuff. And so if I were to walk back to, say, the spawn of the world, because it still technically thinks it's a village, it would start a raid. And so you drink the milk to remove any buffs or debuffs you have on you, thus preventing it. But no, the fishing. So I have a friend of mine that anytime he ever joined a world of mine, and as soon as he picked up a fishing rod, he would just start fishing up enchanted books, enchanted bows, other fishing rods, and a whole bunch of other random assorted. He would fish up more enchanted junk than he would actual fish, and it is crazy the amount of random things that he would find. Okay, so I have a bucket. Oh, let me make a cauldron. So the way this works, at least for what I have found, is you take a cauldron, you place it a 1 block space. Nope, not the torch. There we go. Yeah, a 1 block space and a dripstone. And on top of that block, you put a source of lava. The lava, okay, see how this is dripping through water? Somehow water is dripping through here? If you have lava on top, lava will drip through, and over time, you will get full buckets of lava in the cauldrons. Now, what I haven't tested is if I can take that lava in the cauldron, and if I run water on top of it, if it will turn it into obsidian in the cauldron like it does in some mods. Or if it just replaces it. But if nothing else, it's a way to create a nether portal without ever mining diamond. You just have to have iron to make the cauldron and find an underground area that has this dripstone. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a way to speed it up with all the dripstone is also attached to what is called a dripstone block. and I think that speeds it up, but cobblestone works just as well. Yeah, see, like this lava here, if I were to go to its source up there, I can then grab it in the bucket, have a lava source, to then create lava, obsidian. Very, very cool lighting fixtures as well. You just have to get to the source block. Got it. And then that will slowly drain until I can get a bucket of lava and replace it. Because naturally spawning lava like that, I tend to leave just because it lights up the area, and it also counts for mob prevention as well, at least as far as I know. So, like, if I make a tower, I'll put a glass pillar in the middle, fill that pillar with lava, and it lights the whole pillar without having to have just a mess of torches. Alright, so let me mine out this hole over here. And then as you get more lava buckets, you can take them and expand your system to however much lava production you want. Using a system of hoppers and a furnace, you can actually have one hopper feed in buckets of lava, another hopper feed in what you're wanting to smelt, and another hopper on the bottom it pulls out both the finished product, and whenever a bucket of lava is added to the furnace, it pulls the bucket down into the bottom as well. So you can keep refilling the buckets with this system, and a bucket of lava will smelt 100 items over its time frame. So in doing that, you can essentially have an infinitely renewable fuel source using this system. Now, this isn't a system that I came up with. This is something that I found online 3-4 months ago, something like that. Around the time that Caves and Cliffs was full on released, at least for console version anyway. And so I saw that, I'm like, that is awesome. I need to figure out how to build that. And then here it is. Alright, so I just need to... And then what you can also do is if you take... I like to take sand, make some glass, and put glass around it. Because then you can literally just see the lava behind the wall and be like, yeah, I made that. I have the power. I have the power of the earth at my fingertips, essentially. So let me put that there, that there, and so to make this work, always make sure before you start doing any of this to make sure that the area is completely walled off properly, so that you don't accidentally have lava pouring into your base. And also with me doing this underground, because it's stone, I don't have to worry about it setting anything on fire from proximity. Get some more torches so I can see what I'm doing. And since this is technically building into a mountain, well, I say mountain, it's more like just a giant hill, really. Ow. Yeah, I tend to do that a lot. Because again, used to playing on peaceful, so armor and such isn't as much of a necessity. And then put that down. Then if you come back down under here, you can see the lava dripping through the dripstone. Now, it's a slow process, so for it to be a viable source of smelting material, you need a good number of them. My experience is anywhere from 5 or 6. One system I had 10 of them, and I actually had more buckets of lava than I was using because a hopper will only hold 5 slots. So 5 buckets plus the bucket in the furnace plus the one that is currently in the fuel. So it'll burn one, spit out the bucket. The second bucket will be sitting there, and then the 5 in the hopper. So anything beyond 6 or 7, you're just going to have buckets of lava sitting in a chest at that point. If that's your thing, then more power to you. But so as far as in-game time, I want to say in-game or either not in-game time, but real time to fill one of these, provided the chunk stays loaded. Which since I'm a hermit more than anything. I don't socialize on worlds much. That's why I play a lot, mostly play solo. Hence why I do a little bit of everything, farming, mining, what have you. So I tend to not really ever leave my house. So I like to think is more of like my own version of a hobbit hole, in a sense, is the way I look at it. Alright, so I've got 4 melons. So I can actually leave this with that. A lantern works great, and also because in order to grow crops underground, there has to be adequate light. So a lantern puts out a wider range of light than a torch. And then because I put lighting on the wall and then some lighting on the ceiling, all these crops grow no problem. So there's that. Alright, so these 4 will be for the melons. Yeah, so when you grow melons and pumpkins, it has to have a block next to it for it to grow onto, and it will not grow onto gravel or stone. I don't know about sand. I've never built my crops directly next to sand. I've always used dirt, and dirt works. So if I put my 4 melons here, they'll grow into these 4 spaces here. And so the first crop, 1, 2, 3, 4, my water will go here. Oh, why? That was the wrong material. Cobblestone. Off of hotbar. Thank you. 2, 3, 4. Put water here. Okay, so this wall needs to go 1 more block. 1 by 3 of water creates infinite pool. So I can continue just grabbing it that way. All right, so let's go do this. And then I need to go and make sure I have enough dirt, because technically it goes 4 blocks in every direction, which from the water block in the center is a 9 by 9 area. So that's 81 minus the 1 block for the water, so you need 80 pieces of dirt in a 9 by 9 square for a single block of water. So you can actually grow 80 crops from a single source of water, which overall is nuts. Because say you plant an entire thing of wheat. If I'm not mistaken, whenever you plant wheat, I think you have a chance to get 2 from a single harvest. It might only be 1 in general. But so 80 pieces of wheat every couple of days is nearly enough for, let's see, 27 pieces of bread. So unless you're running a marathon and getting the crap kicked out of you 24/7, that is more than enough food for one person over the course of several in-game days. So okay, so it does drop 2. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, that's a lot of wheat. Which, with the creation of hay bales, it gives you something to use it for. Because if I'm not mistaken, hay bales, 1, they break your fall, and 2, I believe that's how you breed horses naturally. It's been so long. It's been so long since I've messed with horses. Actually, I think the last time I messed with horses was when we got the ocean update, which was 113 several years ago. So beyond that, and that was back on console for the achievement of breeding a horse and a donkey to make a mule. Oh god, I needed a golden carrot for that. So that was fun. Let's see, where's dirt? Where is my dirt? Okay, I have no dirt. Well, already then. Oh, time to make a couple shovels. Oh wait, do I have any stone shovels left? No, I do not. Iron shovels. Get a few stacks of dirt. And let's see. So, oh, before I forget, another thing I wanted to show is the deep slate. So, this is cobbled deep slate. Now, if you take cobbled deep slate, it creates polished deep slate, which looks pretty cool. But then if you take the polished deep slate and put it back in the same 2x2, you get the deep slate bricks. And then you do the same process again from deep slate brick to create deep slate tiles, which is basically a smaller texture of the deep slate brick. And it's also darker by the look of it with the base. This is all vanilla texture. I'm not running a texture pack or anything like that. And I don't think there's another step after that. Let's see. And I like the deep slate tile. Yeah, no, that's the last step. Is the deep slate tile, which actually looks really cool. Gives it a nice not evil fortress, but I guess yeah, kind of evil fortress, like Sauron's tower kind of thing, or Isengard even. But it's much easier to get than going into the Nether and farming netherrack to make nether brick, to then make the nether brick blocks for the dark red look. This gives you much more of a black stone aesthetic, and I like it. And on the previous one, which I think the other archive is still up at the moment for like another day or so, because it only stays for a couple of weeks for me at the moment. Of my original build, that the outer wall was made of that tile deep slate. So, but I like it. Oh, I keep yeah. So one thing you'll probably notice with me is I cannot sit still. I'm constantly moving around, even if I'm just doing nothing. I'm constantly running around. That happens in pretty much every game I play. Is I end up just moving around. I cannot sit still. Dirt. And eventually I'm going to take... Cause, yeah, so when I started this, all I had was a solid wall that started here that I just dug into and just built a dirt box around me. just enough to be able to sleep at night. Once I started rebuilding. Because, like I said, I've never been one to do a lot of creative building. Aside from, like, some PC modded mod packs or whatever. And that's simply to test a concept. Like how two mods interact with each other, or how to build a multi-block structure, that kind of thing. Beyond that, it's all survival building for me. Because I enjoy it. Mining the materials, thinking out what I'm building, changing my plans halfway through and doing other things. I enjoy it. I'm not a big PvP person. Just casual, chill, mining and building. And the occasional heart attack from the mobs that try to kill me. But that's any world. I will say though, one of the things I do miss is some of the things you kind of get spoiled with in mod packs is some of the machinery that simplify things. Like machines that give redstone more purpose, or things that give gold more purpose. Because outside of like the clock and a couple of other small things, gold doesn't really have a use. Lapis only has 2 uses. Blue dye, well, 3 technically. Blue dye, which has also been supplemented with flowers, with some of the new flowers that have been added in over the years. And now it has a use for enchanting. So its main use is enchanting at this point, because a lot of people don't decorate with it much. I mean, it's a nice block to decorate with, albeit a little, not gonna say obnoxious. Oh, that's the wrong kind of block. That. Cobblestone and lantern. There we go. Yeah, my inventory is always a mess. Which that's another thing that I also miss. Most mod packs have a button that allows you to just sort your inventory. How it sorts it, I'm not entirely sure what the priority is in the sorting of it. I just know it works, and it makes things manageable. Same with chests, including mods that make bigger chests, or sorting systems or computer systems that allow all these things to keep track of what is inside them, and you can recall them from a central location. Basically, the big industrial mod packs I like. Things of like automation and whatnot, which that kind of thing is what got me interested in games like Factorio and in recent years Satisfactory. Things like that, or colony survival even. I think overall, out of all of those, I think I have sunk more time into colony survival than all the others, with Satisfactory being a close second. I think. I don't know. I'd have to look at my Steam page for the it'll show like hours played or what have you. It's just so much of that stuff is so time consuming and tedious because you have to plan everything out, and a lot of the stuff it's easy to get overwhelmed, especially when you're doing it all by yourself. because you have to plan out certain facilities. You have to kind of future-proof a little bit for possible expansion, as well as tech tree innovation and things like that. Minecraft, it's much simpler, albeit complicated in its own right, of its own certain things. Like remembering that, hey, certain blocks fall due to gravity while others don't, and things like that, and planning building accordingly. But beyond that, if you like building, you're right at home. I'm almost tempted to look through the advancements to see if there's an advancement for making a diamond hoe. Simply because it's funny. Oh, yep, there it is. Not the diamond hoe, but the enchanted trophy item for I'm assuming for planting at least one of every single crop. And the melons was the last one. Because I've got melon, I've got pumpkin, I've got wheat, I've got beetroot, carrot, I almost said corn, but that's a mod, potatoes. I also have sugarcane and kelp. The only things that I don't have, simply because I haven't come across them, are mushrooms. But that's a whole nother tedious thing to farm. Alright, now where are my seeds? Well, there's some of my seeds. I'll grab the potatoes. Yeah, and I keep baked potatoes. I got some random fish, beetroots. My entire whole sorting thing is a disaster. I've got some I have a piece of cactus that I grabbed. Because we were talking about the stuff for the creative, to replace, to help people replace things that they lost. And cactus is one of them, since I'm not next to a desert anymore. Now the cactus has two uses aside from decoration. You cook it to make the cactus green dye for dyeing wool or armor. Still wish you could dye iron armor, but you can't. At least not that I know of. I could be wrong. And then the other is, much like the sweetberry plants, entities take damage when they touch it. So if you stagger it in a zigzag pattern to where all the cactus blocks are diagonal, essentially making a wall, you then have outside of Enderman, because they teleport, you have another natural barrier from incoming mobs. And since it grows 3 blocks high, things can't shoot over it, like pillagers or skeletons. And it's the same height as Enderman, so you don't have to actually worry about accidentally looking at an Enderman. Now, at the same time, it also counts for... Oh, pardon me. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, spiders. Because spiders can climb up walls. That's why one of the things for once I'm going to build this wall up a few blocks higher is to put a 1-block lip on the outside, because unlike real spiders, mobs in this game cannot walk upside down. Granted, if you take a name tag, name it Dinnerbone, and use the name tag on a mob, it flips the model. But it still technically cannot walk upside down. So the 1-block lip then makes your walls spider-proof. You can tame a bunch of cats and place cats around, which will ward off creepers. skeletons and zombies, if you have some wolves, tamed wolves around, they'll just attack them indiscriminately. And the mobs don't register them as targets technically, so they don't shoot them. And anything else that's left, an iron golem or two, and you're good to go. Defensive wise, and you can do all of this even in an open area. If you start a world in a village, you can do it that way. Perimeter of the village, and what have you. And it's also very good. There are also good defenses for raids as well. If you want to farm pillager stuff, is a good way to go about it as well. So, alright, let's get this wheat planted. Yeah, so whenever you plant, like, melons or something on the side here, you want to make sure that all the crops around it have something in the space. Otherwise, there's a chance that this melon won't grow here. It'll pop here instead. So by putting a crop on the other side, it will always force it to spawn here. Okay, that's all those wheat. Yep, and the beetroots, which I started making a couple of the beetroot soup, I believe it's called. Yeah, I believe it's called a beetroot soup. But the main benefit of these is, because if you notice, I harvested 17. Wait, no, that can't be right. What? How did I only have 17? 8. Oh, 8, 9, 17. I cannot math today. Okay, anyway. So 17 plants, and I got almost 3 times that in seeds. Whatever is in the beetroot gives a bunch of seeds, which, all these seeds, you replant what you had. The rest can all go in the compost bin. And then take the rest. Actually, I forget. Can you cook beetroot? No, you cannot. Okay. I had only ever made beetroot stuff recently, just because, again, playing on peaceful, you don't really need food. So a lot of the different crops, whatnot, I never actually ate them. I just kind of kept them. Even some of the mod packs that have, like, say, magical crops or Pam's Harvest Craft or a whole bunch of other things that add literally hundreds of different food recipes, I still never really ate most of them. Now the magical crops, beyond just food, it also had the crops for the various ores of the game. Iron, coal, basically any type of material that you could harvest in some form or regard, whether it be lapis, iron, gold, or in the case of mod packs, cobalt, and a whole bunch of others, odds are there was a crop for it. Water blocks, lava blocks, obsidian. It's one of those types of things that can coincide with some of your mods for skyblocks that allow you to create everything in a world from nothing, or from a simple tree, like any of the Sky Factory mod packs, for example, is a good one. Like one of them, it was all from the I think it was called the Ex Nihilo, which is Latin for from nothing, which had to do with sieving dirt to get materials. Another version used trees to get your different materials, all the way from a dirt tree, cobblestone tree, sand tree, bone tree, iron tree, all of it. And it's things like that that I enjoy. And a lot of people enjoy it, to my knowledge. Yeah, see, unfortunately, you can't see how much lava is ever in the thing until, boom, you have a block of lava. Because, see, unlike when you put water in a cauldron, you can see when there's, different water levels as you're, dyeing items or making potions or whatever. But lava only exists in a whole block or nothing. There's no in between with that, because you can't have little bottles of lava, for example. So you can't actually see the animation change of the lava until boom, you have a full cauldron. So there's not really anything you can do there. Let's see. Okay, so crops expanded. Let me grab the other cobblestone out of my chest. Let's put the deep slate away. Put the pumpkins away. Put the potatoes. Put that. Oh, let's get this iron going. Grab the cobblestone. All of it. Yes. And let's get to work on the wall. Oh yeah. Oh, one more thing. Apologize. I am constantly sporadic. I need to grab these 4 dark oak saplings because I need to pick a spot to plant a dark oak tree. And I think I'm gonna put it right here. I had originally started planting the jungle trees to get the saplings to then have enough jungle wood on my wall for the cocoa bean farming. So, and this was just an extra sapling I had. Plus, I think I have a few saplings in a chest somewhere. Again, my stuff is not sorted by any means. So, now the thing about dark oak is you have to plant it in a 2x2. It will not grow any other way. A jungle tree will grow from a single sapling. So you can start off with a single sapling, probably grow that one, cut it down, grow a few more, unless you happen to get 4 saplings in one go, and then you can plant a giant one like this. Now what I've done in the past is I take one of these giant ones, remove the leaves at the very, very top, one level of the logs, put down 4 pieces of dirt, put 4 more saplings, and plant a jungle tree on top of a jungle tree. Then remove the dirt, put the logs back in the middle so it looks like it's one solid tree, and then build a giant tree house at the top. Or if I happen to find a jungle biome, just build myself a Tarzan house. Because giant tree canopy. Now I've only done that on a survival world once. That wasn't on peaceful, and let me tell you, getting animals up that tree before we had leads is hell. Because you have to because when your base is 30 blocks in the air, you have to make an actual block stair step all the way up, get the animal to follow you, and hope it doesn't accidentally fall off an edge and die on impact. To where you then have to start all over again. It was not fun. And then luckily, jungle areas are also prone to having melons, which once you plant one melon seed, it will continue to produce melons. Oh yeah, I have a glowberry. Let me... Where do I want to put this? You know what? I'll put it right here. So this right here will continue to grow downward until it hits a block, and stops. And each spot on it can grow additional berries. This is part of... oh, yep. See, there's one now. So I can then take that one and plant another one. This is part of more stuff, part of cliffs and caves, because there's a cave biome generation type called lush caves, which means basically take like moss and little grass bits, these berries and other things, and put them in a tunnel underground. Basically, it's kind of like a forest takes over a cave system. It actually looks very beautiful, much like some of the forested areas in the Nether now after the Nether update of 117. Still to this day, I have never actually found a single bit of netherite scrap to make any kind of netherite tools. Never once found it. Which, I mean, the main purpose of the netherite tools and the main benefit they serve is that they get back in there. Oh, that's what I can do. Okay, hold, sorry, train of thought. Anyway, so netherite tools, they have a little bit more durability than a diamond tool, and it takes a diamond tool to make it, in addition to the netherite scrapped into the netherite ingots. But see, most any other tool armor, what have you, if you fall into lava and you die and your stuff scatters into the lava, it's just destroyed. Netherite tools and netherite armor float on lava. They do not sink. They are not destroyed by lava. They simply sit on top, like other things that float in water. So netherite tools and armor can be reclaimed from a lava death, which personally I thought was amazing. Okay, do I have any wool? No. Okay. So a little trick I learned years ago is if you take wool. Did I get the wool? Yes. Okay, so since I can share these guys right next to the thing, if you take wool and turn it into carpet. Oh, hang on, let me. See, fence posts are 1.5 blocks high, technically speaking, in their coating. However, if you put a piece of carpet, the animals still think the wood is 1.5 blocks high. However, because this block now overrides the extra poly of the fence post, it's only 1 block high for me. So I can just walk right over it. But the animals don't know any better. So it's a good way to get in and out of a pen with animals without having to constantly open and close the gate and risk animals getting out, which then have to be re-wrangled. And since they don't register it, they just look at you like, what are you doing? Just look at you like you're crazy. So, little different tips and things that I've learned over the years. All right, so let's see. All right, back to bed. Every time. Okay, it's not quite time yet. So I'm just gonna sit here and stare at the sunset for about 10 seconds. There we go. Alright. Now then, back to the original plan. Now I've got all this cobblestone. I can continue building up the wall to my desire. What I had originally thought about doing was taking all of the wall, even all the way out there, and building it up to a few blocks higher than this, because the hill or whatever. But I think I'm just going to have it be a certain elevation higher than the ground it's sitting on, so it will slope as it follows the contour of the land. And then I can just kind of do a little bit of land sculpting from there. I've never been one to build elegantly. I build functionally more than anything. So like these walls, apart from maybe a little bit higher and put the lip on it, this wall is completely functional and done. Mobs can't can't walk past it. Albeit ugly as hell. So I think I'm gonna start with filling out this. Going around the trees. Really? This tree is kind of in my way. Oh well. Turn that around. I'll just go around this way. There, problem solved. And less impact on the terrain. Granted, this was all random splotchy flowing water mess that I managed to turn into full source blocks. One block up, and that just kind of runs off like a little river out into the ocean. And then walled off there, and then built my little pond. This pond was already here. I just kind of evened out the sides for crops, and I've got my kelp growing in the bottom. Okay, let's break these torches. Okay, so the base structure of the wall is done. Apart from where I'm going to put my main tower coming in and out of the place over in the corner. We're still trying to work on how I want to do that. I think I'm going to have an open end on this side, and then double doors on the other, just past the jungle tree. But I'm not entirely sure beyond that. Because again, a lot of this stuff I don't plan out a whole bunch of stuff. Like for example, I had no plan for what this perimeter would look like until I just started placing blocks, and it's just kind of what came to me. So a lot of my stuff will seem sporadic and not entirely random, but not completely planned either. So there is a little bit of system and method to my madness, but it could still be deemed as madness overall. Yeah, I just have these placeholder torches on top just to keep things from spawning on the wall. One block there. There we go. Build up the tower. And I haven't quite decided what I want to make the floor out of. Although, what I also thought about doing was just taking the entire floor and covering it in carpet. In which case, it won't matter what the floor is made of, because you won't see it. You'll just see the carpet. But then it raised the question of, well, what color carpet? it's one of those things that you start designing something and you start building, and then you're like, okay, but do I want it to look like this or do I want it to look like that? But then how about this one? And it's a never-ending cycle overall. But that constant creative questioning is what ultimately leads to innovation and adaptation. Thus, the architecture and inventions we have in the modern day. Starts with a question or by complete accident. Thus, we have technology. Alright, let me double check something. Do a little bit of counting. Okay, there we go. Oop. Come through the door. Yeah, see, these grow very quickly. And if there's no berries on it, you can just kind of hit it with a single bone meal. Any spot that it's grown, and it will immediately spit out a berry. To which you can then just you can eat them, or you can plant them on the ceiling, and so on and so forth. So I will stick them in a chest for now. Plenty of eggs. Got sugar cane. Pumpkins are growing nicely. Actually, they're completely grown. Oh, hey, first melon. Melon slices. Here, one. Ah, okay. So there was. So one thing I've noticed is each thing in here, for each item that I eat, for the first time, seems to give a advancement in some regard, which then rewards in a few more of that item. So that's cool. Okay, I got more pumpkins. Okay, I'm pretty sure these wheats are fully grown. Yeah, it won't let me bone meal it, so it is fully grown. Yeah, I'm getting 1 wheat per. I'm getting a bunch of seeds though. Which the seeds ultimately will also ultimately serve two purposes. One, just harvesting those few, I got almost 3 times the yield in seeds. Which in turn allows you to grow a bunch of additional wheat very quickly and expand a farm very fast, as well as you can use them to breed chickens, and you can also compost them as well. Okay, so let me grab the bone meal because I need to do something real quick. Because one food I haven't made yet in here. Yeah. Okay. So the way they changed it is because, at least for the PC version, you don't just take a cocoa bean and put it on something. It's not like, you're like, okay, oh hey, you want to make this sheep blue? Here, just rub this blue rock on it to turn it blue. Cocoa beans the same way. You take the cocoa bean, you make it into the dye, because now that there are multiple ways to make the same colors of dye. So for example, if I open the book here and I go to, yeah, here it is. Like, okay, see how it says red dye, it says right click. There are several ways you can make the red dye with the poppy, or you can make the red dye with a beetroot. Same goes for white. Oh, the special white flour or bone meal. because each of the colors, except for yellow, yellow only has the one because there's only the one yellow flower. Same with a lot of the other offshoot colors, blue dye, and so on. But if I take, if I'm not mistaken, if I take a lapis, yeah, see, lapis will make a blue dye. And then do that, the blue dye is now in my inventory, which means now I can then learn, it then shows me how to make the others. See, the magenta, the process of making the magenta is very complicated now. Because before it was just take a blue and a pink, or what have you, or take a purple and a pink. Now you can just straight up make the dye with one blue, one white, and 2 red. Or if you already have pink, you don't need the white, you just do a blue, a red, and a pink. Very, very confusing sometimes. Also, you can, there's multiple ways to make sticks because of the bamboo. Rather than the bamboo supplementing for a stick, you just take 2 bamboo and you get 2 sticks. It's still a 1-to-1, so it still works with it. Yeah, basically the way it is, if the picture has multiple of itself, like see, you can barely kind of see it, but there's 2 red dyes on top of each other. All the ones that have a double like that, it means, at least as far as I know, that means that there are multiple. Light blue is blue. It's just blue and white to make light blue. Any of the light colors are made with the color and white is the way it works. Sorry about that. Wife was bringing me food. Now the real ones is because you have. Let's see. Do I have the ability? Okay, so I can't show the recipe at the moment for it, but one of the recipe things is if you take an ink sac, which is then turned into black dye. You then take the black dye and the white dye and bone meal or white dye to create gray. You then have to take gray and white again to create light gray. But I think you can skip that step if you simply go 1 black, 2 white. I think you can also achieve the same recipe doing it that way. So, but just with various flowers and whatnot, it is possible to create wool dyes of all 16 colors. Because there have always been 16 colors. There will probably always be 16 colors, simply because Minecraft is technically a 16-bit game. So let's see. Ah, yes. Oh, so also, because another thing with the, granted this was part of the ocean update several years ago, you actually see the fish in the water, and if you just hit them with a sword, come on, you can get fish from them. And so you can actually fish without a fishing pole, technically. And you can also get bones this way as well. So it allows you to get bones for early bone meal or mob taming, even without having to deal with skeletons or anything like that. Oh, that's cute. Well, I mean, technically, clay was the original Play-Doh. Oh, cool, and that ink sac gave me 4 of them. So I now have 5. Alright, so let me go back to base. Yeah, the only main bad thing about being in near an ocean like this is if zombies go into the ocean, and become completely submerged, they turn into drowned. which have a chance to spawn. Well, I say have a chance to spawn. Generally, will spawn with tridents, which, when you're not on peaceful, those hurt, and I have seen them be the death of many a hardcore. All right, so let's see, got that. Let's see what else. All right, let me grab a red flower, a yellow flower. Actually, I'll grab 2 of those because I also need. Well, no, because I need those for yellow and orange. Or actually, no, I don't need the red flowers at all for that. I just grab some beetroots. Grab another lapis. Grab the white lily of the valley. I think that's all of them. Do I have any other odd colors out here? No. Okay, so there are several other colors you can do to get the other odd colors. Now, one thing you can also do. Now, granted, because magenta takes more than 2 colors, technically takes more than 2 colors to make, because it takes blue, red, and pink. Although, hang on, that gives me an idea. Okay, so if I take purple. Okay, yeah, okay, so that does add the other recipe. So yes, you can still create all the colors by breeding sheep. Because if you start with all of the base colors, black, white, and so on, you can actually create all 16 colors simply by breeding your sheep. So, like, for example, if I take... Okay, see, this is now a black sheep. Now, let me go grab some wheat. Alright, so, with the wheat in hand, now if I take... For example, if I take the black sheep and a white sheep, breed them together, it spits out a little baby gray sheep. And then, once this gray sheep is grown, if I take the gray sheep and breed it with a white sheep, it will create the light gray variation. And you can do this for all 16 colors, as long as you know the two color crafting combinations to make all 16 colors. So, for example, if I'll take and breed the various white sheep together. Wait, that must have been the one that I just bred. Yeah, it was. Okay. So if you have a whole palette of white sheep, and you introduce the base colors red, yellow, blue, green, black, white, and brown. With those 7, you can, in breeding them together, you can create all 16 colors. And then you simply shear them, and they will continue to generate those colors. And then you have a rainbow of wool to then decorate however you see fit. It's just originally without having bone meal, you had to make sure you started with white sheep. Oh, yep, here it is. 1 bucket of lava. And yeah, right at about 30 minutes. So now that I have that bucket of lava, I can remove this piece of cobblestone, place it over there, put this here. So now it has 2. Now before you worry, yes, it's dripping right here, but because there's not a cauldron, it won't actually do anything. There has to be a cauldron there for it to actually generate lava. So if I come over here, make another cauldron, it will now generate 2 buckets of lava at a time. So it's really cool how that works. Alright, so got a blue, got a red, got a yellow, got one purple. Well, technically the purple was an extra color. I need a cocoa bean to make a brown. Yep, and by constantly harvesting the cocoa beans and replanting them, because you can only grow them on the side of jungle trees. Now, if you plant jungle trees, it has a chance to spawn with a cocoa bean on it. On Twitch, not very long. Only got back into it over the last week or so. I did it for about a month last summer, just to kind of test the waters, as it were, simply as a hobby. But beyond that, so not very much experience with this. So this has all been a literal learn as I go, as far as streaming is concerned. Oh, so we need one of those. Oh, lead back out. Okay, so I have black, I have white, I have gray, or I'm losing track of the colors here. Red, yellow. Cactus, at least one cactus is grown, so I can do that. Replant that. Now, do I have to? Okay, yes. So you do still have to cook the cactus to make the cactus green. Do I have any stone tools left? Not stone. Wooden tools. There we go. Wooden tools. Also have a wonderful use when you immediately replace them with stone. Quick fuel when you don't want to end up burning an entire thing of coal. Alright, so now that I have this... Yeah, and the sheep will take some time to grow, but they will grow. Alright, which sheep can be bred? Oops. Well, so I have two gray sheep now. Oh, whoops. Skipped a step. Get back here. Alright, so always want to make sure you keep several white sheep in here. Now, eventually what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to either find some way to get slime at some point, or something to be able to keep the cows in a corner, because unfortunately cows and sheep both follow wheat, and so breeding them is a little chaotic, as you just saw. Because they're all like, "Ooh, he has food. Rush him." Oh, that's a Cookie Monster reference. Has to be. Alright. Now, if you end up with an excess of wheat, you can also feed the babies wheat, which makes them grow up faster. Alright, so, now, if it will let me... Okay, so breed blue and white to create light blue. Or, no, I'm sorry, that is... No, that is the cyan, I believe. Yep. Oh, no, that is light blue. Okay. Oh, cyan is blue and green. Okay, and then if I breed... Okay, no, not ready yet. Okay, so while they're doing that, check on the crops in here. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, crops are growing nicely. Got enough light. Cocoa beans. The cocoa beans, once you start growing from one cocoa bean to growing into the rest, they grow very quickly. Granted, again, they only have two uses: brown dye and cookies, to my knowledge. Which, while yes, two wheat and one cocoa bean would make. Um. Excuse me? How did you. What? What? Um. How did you. What the. Um. Okay, wait. How did you. Hang on. I do not need a Houdini sheep. Let's see. Grab more logs, because I'm going to need them. Oh, dang it. I always get that backwards. I have a Houdini sheep. So, let's just give you guys some more space. You, get back here. Okay. Out of the way, folks. Alright, there you go. Now, hopefully, we'll have less poly glitching. Which, you know, now that I think about it, that does actually kind of make sense because the animals like to crowd themselves into corners, which I guess kind of forces them into places that they normally shouldn't. So let me put the wool not on a wall, or in a corner, rather. Okay, good. Yeah, now everybody's got space. On the plus side, any of the sheep that you end up having to, say you accidentally dye the wrong one, or whatever, you can just take white, immediately reset their color. And so, breed white and gray. Where are you? To create light gray. And then take blue and red. Purple. take green and white, lime green. So now all I'm missing is I need to take green. I need to take green and blue to get cyan. Then I need to take red and white to make pink, and then take pink and purple to make magenta. And that should be all the colors. Oh wait, no. I'm missing a very important color here. I need yellow. Because then I take yellow and red to make orange. Okay, good. And I still have 2 white sheep to work with. Yeah, see, they're all crowding into the corner, and what it's doing is all of their polys are overlapping each other to the point that the game forces them apart and will force them through a fence. It's very, very disconcerting. Meanwhile, my bees are just a-buzzing. Well, I think that about wraps up for today. Pretty much got everything that I had planned, plus a little bit. Got to show off a little introductions of stuff from the Clifton kit. Oh, wow, that one filled up fast. Okay. Let me go make a 3rd cauldron then. Finish off the system. Now, unfortunately, you can't make the dripstone. This stuff. You have to actually find it in a cave somewhere. That's the only main downside is you can't create it. You have to find it. Now, granted, usually once you find it, you find a lot of it. Okay, there we go. So now we've got that lava up there. So now 3 of them are all generating lava, which I can then use to make obsidian, which I can pour manually, then pour water over it. I can make an obsidian wall 1 level at a time using that, or making a portal, or any other type of like obsidian architecture you want, all without ever needing diamond to do it. The downside is you've got to make absolutely sure that where you're putting that block is where you want it. Otherwise, you get to spend I don't know how long trying to break that obsidian without diamond. Now, if you have diamond, it's not that bad. It unfortunately does not work. I'll have to place a few and mine them up anyway, simply because to make an enchanting table. But I think what I'll probably do between now and next time is finish breeding the rest of the sheep across the colors and have a little wool showcase. The rest of the crops are all set up, good to go. Might do a little bit more of the mining out for the wall. But I don't have an actual schedule for all of this. It's just kind of been kind of sporadic as I have time. But try to do it a little bit more regularly, but see how that goes and see what happens. Hope you all enjoyed, and until next time, I'm Mithrin.